So let's
Sure.
assume, so let's walk me through both the procedures. One is that I cooperate and I do whatever they tell me to do. What happens? Like
Sure.
what's
So
really going on there, right? You're giving them, you're basically, I tell
you're
my,
giving them evidence.
yeah, you're basically testifying against yourself at that point, right?
Right. You're giving them evidence that you don't have to give them. If they suspect that you're under the influence, they're going to ask you to step out of the vehicle.
Okay.
Step out of the vehicle. Don't try to act like you're Superman who's going to sit there and disobey that command, because they will pull you out of the vehicle and it will not be comfortable. And they're allowed on any traffic stop. The officer can ask you to step out of the vehicle and you have to comply.
Okay.
They can ask you to identify yourself and you have to comply. If you have your license with you, give it to them. If you don't, tell them you don't have it. That may be a separate issue, a traffic infraction for driving without your license with you. Okay, no big deal. I can deal with that.
Okay.
But at the point where they ask you to step out of the vehicle, there's a 95% chance that you're going to jail.
Okay.
There's very little you can do at that point. You're not going to talk yourself out of it. You're not going to beat the field sobriety tests. With my training and experience, what I do very commonly is, for B&I keynotes and for Kiwanis clubs and other community groups, is I'll go do presentations to these groups and I pull stone cold sober people out of the audience and put them through field sobriety tests, and they very commonly fail.
Right.
These tests have very little to do with whether you've been drinking or whether you're okay to drive a vehicle. Sober people fail them all the time. So if you have had a beer and you've been pulled over, there's no reason to even try these tests. You probably couldn't do them sober. You're certainly not doing them now. And the officer is going to take everything he sees as a clue of possible intoxication. All he's doing is building his probable cause and building what he's going to use against you in court. You don't have to do it. Don't walk the line. Don't stand on one leg. Don't follow the pin with your eyeballs. There's no reason to do any of that. There's no reason to answer their laundry list of questions, including where you've been, where you're going, whether you were drinking, how much you were drinking, whether you're under a doctor's care. I don't really mind if you tell them you're under a doctor's care if you got a recent knee surgery or something. Because that would explain the balance issue that they're seeing as you step out of your car and you're leaning against the roof of your car to try to walk back to their car. It's not the alcohol. It's my trick knee, officer. Right. But they're told to, if you do field sobriety tests, they're told to take those things into account. I have yet to have an officer adequately explain to me what that means. They'll say, yeah, I took that into account, but he still couldn't balance on one leg. I don't care about the knee. Clearly the alcohol caused the issue. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay, officer.